Now, communication on change. I want you to think about if your organization, no matter how big or how small it is, the people in that organization are going to come from different backgrounds, different schools of thought. One particular issue is that you will have some individuals who are very comfortable with how things have been done for a long time. There are various reports that have to be done. There are certain processes that have to be done. And all of a sudden, like with the current economic climate we're in, the management's coming along and other people are coming along from outside and saying, okay, we have to do this differently. You look into the eyes of people when they hear that. You can see the fear start to develop. The uncertainty starts to arise. Their eyes narrow, or maybe they go open wide, and they're going, oh my God, what now? What do I have to change about myself? What do I have to do that's different? What are all these processes that I've learned and I can do in the back of my head with no trouble? And is that something we're just going to throw away? Yes, perhaps you may. And this is where I think there are within an organization there are two groups again. One that are fixed on how they do things with certain processes, and others who are very comfortable shifting from day to day from something old to something new. Now, how do managers deal with these two groups in a way that helps them become skilled at moving from one to another to a third issue, something new, something different? How do they also help the organization adapt to that? Now, that's one of the real challenges for any manager to think through. For example, let's say you have a new client. The client wants a new particular process that your company says it can do. Let's say your sales staff has offered this. And now the people who have to complete that transaction to fulfill the request are going to have to think through, okay, how do we go from this older way of doing it to this newer way of doing it to fit a client's needs? So, how does one group that can do that with the snap of a finger work with a group that are frustrated with that kind of constant change? What would you say a manager or a company has to do to help this meet the needs of the client? You've thought about that for a second. Some people would say, well, if those people can't change, they're out. Others would say, well, the real leaders here obviously are the people who can make the changes. Yeah, let's step back and look at the larger picture and the depth of what's needed. Some of those people who have been around for some time also have legacy knowledge. They also have legacy understanding of what other clients may have. And unless you change your entire system, they are still of value. And you're going to have a need for them because they are essentially the workhorses for many organizations. They're also a group who may keep fires from happening. You just don't know it because they know where smoldering embers lie. They know where fires have started in the past, and they can see those things being kindled up, and they're able to put those fires out. Whereas someone who is new to the organization and so forth may not know that. So there's a need for both groups. The skill in managing those groups is what's critical here. Now, that brings us up to the level of the managers and supervisors. Some managers are more comfortable working with those who like to shift, to change, to innovate. Why? Because that's where they come from. They're not as comfortable with the people who are more fixed in what they look at. Other managers, for example, may be more comfortable with working with people who like the fix because that's where they come from. Now, this is where it's hard to bring people together, but it's an absolute need for organizations to function effectively. Which brings me to the next point I'd like to talk about is the issue of efficiency versus effectiveness inside of bureaucracies.